Ben Chu, you put Johnny Depp on the stand. It's always a high-risk strategy. It worked for you. If you were representing Sean Diddy Combs, would you put him up?
Well, we put Johnny up because he was telling the truth. So that was a very easy decision to make.
Reporting live from outside the courthouse, the unfolding legal drama surrounding Sean Diddy Combs has taken a dramatic turn with the commencement of jury selection in his high-profile racketeering and sex trafficking trial. In a surprising development that has reportedly ignited a firestorm behind closed doors, Ben Chu, the very legal mind who successfully defended Johnny Depp in his highly publicized defamation case against Amber Heard, has been brought into the proceedings. Sources close to Combs' legal team indicate that the music mogul was allegedly furious upon learning of Chu's involvement.
I think in this case, I don't think he's got any choice. Given that video, he's got to explain it. He's got to say that he's terribly sorry for it, but that was an aberration. That's not who he is. He simply has to say.
Perceiving it as a strategic move by the prosecution that could potentially sway the yet-to-be-seated jury even before opening arguments commence. This unexpected twist has injected an additional layer of intrigue into an already closely watched case, raising questions about the prosecution's tactics and the potential impact on the impartiality of the jury pool. The gravity of the charges against Combs, which include allegations of orchestrating drug-fueled sexual encounters and employing intimidation tactics, underscores the high stakes of this trial and the intense scrutiny being applied to every aspect of the jury selection process. Legal analysts suggest that Chu's expertise in handling celebrity trials and his demonstrated ability to connect with jurors could indeed be a significant asset for the prosecution as they navigate the complexities of presenting a case involving sensitive and potentially disturbing allegations.
Some breaking news: a jury will not be picked today in the Sean Diddy Combs trial. Court started this morning with 45 potential jurors. The lawyers had hoped to cut that down to the final 12 plus 6 alternates.
To a panel of ordinary citizens, the defense, on the other hand, will undoubtedly be strategizing to counter any perceived influence Chu might have, focusing on identifying and selecting jurors who they believe will be fair and impartial, despite the surrounding media frenzy and the involvement of such a prominent legal figure. The coming days will be critical as both sides meticulously vet potential jurors, seeking to assemble a panel that will ultimately determine the fate of Sean Combs. The initial stages of jury selection have been marked by an extensive and rigorous vetting process.
This morning, the highly anticipated criminal trial of Sean Diddy Combs is getting underway. The music mogul himself expected to be inside a Manhattan courtroom as jury selection begins.
With over 160 prospective jurors summoned to court. Of this initial pool, 49 individuals were swiftly dismissed for undisclosed reasons, leaving the remaining candidates to face a barrage of nearly 100 probing questions designed to assess their potential biases and their capacity to remain impartial in the face of serious allegations. These questions delved into the potential jurors' news consumption habits, their pre-existing opinions regarding Sean Combs, and their comfort levels with the disturbing nature of the accusations leveled against him. Some prospective jurors openly admitted to harboring negative feelings towards the defendant.
Will P. Diddy himself testify? That decision is not made until pretty late in the trial. A lot of the decision-making when it comes to who is going to testify for either side isn't about how important or powerful or famous they are. It's whether they're going to help build your case.
While others expressed uncertainty about their ability to objectively evaluate the potentially graphic evidence and chilling testimony anticipated during the trial. This candidness underscores the significant challenge facing the court in impaneling a jury that can truly set aside any preconceived notions and render a verdict based solely on the evidence presented within the confines of the courtroom. The pool of potential jurors has since been narrowed down to a more manageable 35 individuals, representing a diverse cross-section of society, including teachers, factory workers, designers, and social workers.
Today, in a New York federal courtroom, Sean Diddy Combs told the judge he was, quote, a little nervous. The rap mogul's criminal trial began this morning. He is sex trafficking, racketeering, and more. The two sides are now in the process of selecting a jury of 12.
Spanning a wide age range from their 30s to their 80s. To date, 19 of these individuals have been deemed qualified to move forward in the selection process. The critical target number for qualified jurors is 45, at which point both the prosecution and the defense will exercise their peremptory challenges, strategically striking individuals from the panel to ultimately arrive at a final jury of 12 members, along with a designated number of alternate jurors who will be on standby throughout the duration of the trial. The meticulous and time-consuming nature of this initial phase highlights the paramount importance of ensuring a fair and unbiased jury in a case of this magnitude.
Well, now the latest in the jury selection in the Sean Combs sex trafficking trial, which is dragging on longer than expected. Today, the judge in the case finished qualifying 45 prospective jurors.
Intriguingly, the pool of potential jurors who have thus far been deemed qualified includes individuals with their own complex personal histories. 2 women revealed that they had been victims of sexual assault decades prior, experiences that could potentially influence their perspectives on the allegations against Combs. Despite these deeply personal disclosures, the court allowed them to remain in the jury pool, suggesting that their past experiences did not necessarily disqualify them from serving impartially. Adding another layer of complexity, another prospective juror admitted to a past arrest for shoplifting, specifically for stealing a wand from the wizarding world of Harry Potter at Universal Studios. This seemingly minor infraction did not, in the eyes of the court, preclude her from potentially serving on the jury.
Video of Combs attacking then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura inside of a hotel back in 2016.
However, not all disclosures led to continued participation. Several jurors were dismissed from the pool, notably including one individual who had already viewed the highly publicized hotel surveillance video that appears to depict Combs assaulting his then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura. This prospective juror reportedly described the video as damning evidence, a characterization that likely raised concerns about her ability to approach the case with an open mind and without prejudgment. The judge ultimately excused her from the panel, underscoring the court's vigilance in identifying and removing individuals whose prior exposure to key evidence or strong opinions could compromise the fairness of the trial.
This is incredibly disturbing footage, so I do want to warn our viewers, as you did. But as you said, Cassie's lawsuit, which was filed in November of 2023 and then was quickly settled overnight.
The jury selection process is scheduled to continue, with the court aiming to reach the target of 45 qualified jurors by the end of the week, after which the crucial stage of peremptory challenges will commence. Adding a unique dimension to the jury selection process, the judge made the somewhat unconventional decision to invite Ben Chu, the renowned attorney who successfully represented Johnny Depp, to address the court regarding the intricacies of high-profile celebrity trials. This invitation sparked considerable discussion and, as previously mentioned, reportedly elicited a negative reaction from Sean Combs and his legal team. During his address, Chu offered insights into the strategies employed in such cases, including the often extensive research conducted on potential jurors. He raised the pertinent question of whether either side in the Combs trial was actively monitoring the social media activity of prospective jurors to identify any potential biases or prior statements related to the case. Chu explained that in high-stakes trials, particularly those involving defendants with significant resources, it is not uncommon for legal teams to engage jury consultants and investigators to scrutinize the electronic footprints of potential jurors. This level of scrutiny aims to uncover any information that might suggest a predisposition for or against the defendant, ensuring that the selected jury is as impartial as possible. Chu also touched upon the inherent difficulty in truly knowing whether jurors are being entirely truthful during the selection process. He noted that in the Combs jury selection thus far, there appeared to be a significant degree of honesty among the prospective jurors, citing the example of a woman who openly disclosed her past sexual assault and indicated a potential bias in favor of alleged victims in such cases, ultimately leading to her exclusion from the panel. Chu then offered a contrasting perspective on juror interest, suggesting that while individuals often seek to be part of high-profile juries, the disturbing criminal nature of the accusations against Combs might make potential jurors more hesitant to participate, given the potential exposure to graphic evidence and unsettling testimony.
But I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video.
Sean Combs himself is reportedly experiencing a significant degree of anxiety as the jury selection process unfolds. He was observed in court looking visibly stressed, a stark contrast to his typically composed public persona. The federal prosecution is attempting to build a compelling case against Combs, alleging that he leveraged his considerable power, wealth, and fame to coerce women into participating in drug-fueled orgies, which he allegedly referred to as freak-offs, and subsequently employed threats and intimidation to ensure their silence. The gravity of these allegations is underscored by the jury questionnaire distributed to potential jurors, which explicitly warned them that the trial may involve evidence of sexually explicit videos, photographs, and language. This explicit warning serves to prepare prospective jurors for the potentially sensitive and disturbing nature of the evidence they may be required to consider. Many of the potential jurors who have been questioned thus far acknowledged having some prior awareness of the case, given the extensive media coverage surrounding the allegations against Combs. Adding to the prosecution's arsenal of evidence is the highly publicized hotel surveillance video, initially obtained by CNN, which purportedly depicts Combs physically assaulting Cassie Ventura in a Los Angeles hotel in 2016, including knocking her to the floor, kicking, and dragging her. The video has been described as deeply upsetting, and its existence is undoubtedly a significant challenge for the defense. While one prospective juror stated that she did not know the full context of the video and could remain open to the facts presented at trial, the visual evidence itself presents a powerful and potentially damaging image for the defense to overcome. Ben Chu, drawing upon his extensive experience in high-profile cases, offered insights into the ideal characteristics that both the prosecution and the defense might seek in potential jurors. He suggested that the defense might prefer jurors who demonstrate a willingness to serve and who might be more inclined to be sympathetic towards a celebrity defendant like Diddy. Chu also speculated that the defense might strategically favor male jurors, not because of any perceived tolerance for abuse, but because the sensitive nature of the allegations could potentially evoke stronger emotional responses from female jurors.
Sean Diddy Combs' trial will feature some graphic evidence. During an April 25th court hearing ahead of the rapper's trafficking trial, which is set to begin jury selection on May 5th, Judge Arun Subramanian has decided, per NBC News, to allow graphic video of Combs attacking his then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura.
Furthermore, Chu suggested that younger jurors might be viewed as more favorable by the defense. When questioned about the relevance of potential jurors' news consumption habits and social media activity, Chu stated that while exposure to certain types of media, such as crime-focused television programs, could be a concern, he would not be overly concerned about general social media use. In fact, he posited that jurors who regularly consume celebrity news outlets like TMZ or Rolling Stone might even be seen as potentially favorable to the defense. According to court proceedings, the peremptory challenges, where both sides can strike potential jurors without needing to provide a specific reason, as long as it is not based on race or gender, are expected to commence on Friday. Chu emphasized the critical importance of this phase for Diddy's defense team, suggesting that they likely have experienced jury consultants working to profile the type of juror who would be most sympathetic to their client. He advised that even seasoned attorneys should largely defer to the expertise of these jury consultants during this crucial stage, while also acknowledging that the ultimate decision rests with the client, particularly in a case where their liberty is at stake. The issue of potential juror bias stemming from prior exposure to the evidence, particularly the Cassie Ventura assault video, looms large over the jury selection process. Many prospective jurors have acknowledged seeing the video or being aware of the broader allegations against Sean Combs, including the reported involvement of other celebrities in locations associated with the alleged freak-offs. The significant time commitment required to serve on this jury, estimated at 8 weeks, coupled with the expectation of being exposed to potentially disturbing and graphic evidence, presents a considerable challenge in finding individuals willing and able to serve impartially. When asked about the difficulty of seating a fair and impartial jury in this case, Ben Chu expressed his belief that it is indeed possible, but acknowledged that the Cassie Ventura video poses a significant hurdle for the defense.
Star-studded white parties. His attire in court is very different. He looks almost like a college professor. His hair has turned gray. He's been in custody at the federal jail in Brooklyn, and he is not wearing clothes that you would expect.
He noted that regardless of whether potential jurors have seen the video previously, it is highly likely to be presented as key evidence during the trial. Chu highlighted the prosecution's narrative surrounding the video, suggesting that they will argue it not only depicts an assault, but also supports their claims of sex trafficking, alleging that Ventura was attempting to flee not just Combs, but also a freak-off involving a sex worker in the hotel room. This interpretation directly ties the video evidence to the core charges of sex trafficking and racketeering. Chu also addressed Combs' earlier statement to the court expressing nervousness, framing it within the context of the impending trial and the intense scrutiny he will face from the jury. He advised that Combs should be mindful of the fact that he is under constant observation by the jurors whenever he is present in the courtroom and should conduct himself accordingly, as if he were testifying at all times. The jury selection process has already encountered several complications and removals beyond those previously mentioned. One prospective juror was dismissed after it was revealed that they were employed by HBO, the network that recently aired a documentary focusing on the allegations against Diddy, creating a clear conflict of interest. Another potential juror failed to disclose their affiliations with a criminal defense organization, but was ultimately allowed to remain in the pool, a decision that likely involved careful consideration by the court regarding potential bias. As the process moves towards the commencement of peremptory strikes, both the prosecution and the defense will have a limited number of opportunities to remove potential jurors without having to articulate a specific cause, with the crucial caveat that these strikes cannot be based on race or gender. Ben Chu underscored the critical nature of this phase for Diddy's defense, reiterating the importance of relying on experienced jury consultants to identify and remove individuals who might be predisposed to side with the prosecution. He also acknowledged the natural inclination of a defendant facing serious charges to want to be actively involved in the jury selection process, noting reports that Diddy has been observed nodding or shaking his head in response to certain prospective jurors. Chu stated that this level of client involvement is common, as it provides the defendant with a sense of control in a situation where they otherwise feel a profound lack of it.
FBI analysts to break down that now infamous 2016 video of Combs and his then-girlfriend Cassie Ventura in the hallway of a Los Angeles hotel. We will also likely hear from a male escort.
He explained that peremptory challenges offer an opportunity for the defendant to have at least some input into the composition of the jury that will ultimately decide their fate. While the reasons for these strikes do not need to be explicitly stated, the prohibition against discriminatory strikes based on race or gender adds a layer of complexity to the process, even though the court faces the challenge of discerning the true motivations behind each strike. The prosecution's case against Sean Combs extends beyond the highly publicized assault video and encompasses a broader pattern of alleged misconduct spanning decades. They contend that Combs utilized fear, access to firearms, and even arson as tools to control and intimidate his alleged victims. One alleged survivor, believed to be Cassie Ventura, reportedly recounted an incident where Combs held her over a balcony during a physical altercation, highlighting the extreme nature of the alleged abuse. Court records further suggest that this was not an isolated incident, with prosecutors claiming to have uncovered recordings of the alleged freak-offs, which were then purportedly used to blackmail the women into continued cooperation. The lawsuit filed by Combs' former longtime girlfriend, Cassandra Cassie Ventura, last year is widely considered to be the catalyst that triggered the extensive investigation into Combs' activities. The details emerging from Ventura's lawsuit painted a disturbing picture of alleged coercion and exploitation, including claims that Combs directed her interactions with sex workers and filmed these encounters. This lawsuit reportedly provided the initial blueprint for the Southern District of New York's investigation into Combs, and subsequent lawsuits filed by other alleged victims have further solidified the foundation of the criminal case against him. One particularly shocking alleged freak-off, detailed in the prosecution's indictment, reportedly occurred around the same time as the incident involving Cassie Ventura depicted in the hotel surveillance video. Prosecutors have indicated that a male prostitute was allegedly present in the hotel room at the time of the assault, a detail they argue further supports their sex trafficking charges, suggesting that Ventura was attempting to escape a broader exploitative situation. In court filings, prosecutors have also quoted messages purportedly sent by Ventura detailing the physical injuries she sustained, including bruises and a split lip. While Combs initially denied all allegations of wrongdoing, he issued a public apology after the surveillance video surfaced, acknowledging his inexcusable behavior in the video and taking full responsibility for his actions. However, the prosecution maintains that this incident is merely one piece of a much larger and more sinister pattern of criminal behavior.